Hey, welcome to Life with Camille, or welcome to the Wealth Academy. This is my first live, and welcome to all those that are coming to join me. I'm going to be talking about starting out 2025 strong. So, we're going to be discussing how to build up your wealth and also how to get out of debt. Those are some really important things, especially after the holidays. So come on in. I'm just going to wait for a couple of people to join my live. It's not going to be super long, but it's going to be effective. So I'm waiting for people to join the live, and then we'll get started here. Hey, welcome, welcome. The closest star. I love it. Welcome to the Wealth Academy. My name is Camille, and I am glad that you're here. This is my first live, and we're going to talk about starting the year off strong. Okay. So, we're going to be in here for about 15, 20 minutes. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I am going to be answering questions. If you have any type of financial questions that you have, or even some challenges that you may be facing and some things you just want to know the answers to, let's talk about it. So you can put it in the chat. And if I don't know something, I am going to tell you, baby, I don't know. Let me go look it up. Okay. So, just a little bit of my background. I do have 25 years of, now it's coming up on 26 years, 25 years of finance experience. And I have been recently, over the last 8 years, I've been a loan officer with a bank. I've been in banking for 12 years. And I decided that it was time for me to transition out of corporate America. I didn't even have a problem with the bank I was working with. Some people walk away with a list of issues. I didn't have that. That was not the issue. I knew that it was time. So, welcome. Thank you so much for joining the live over here. We are talking about finances and starting out 2025 strong. So, welcome to the Wealth Academy, and my name is Camille. All right. Any questions, just put them in the chat. So, I'm talking about coming out of debt. That's the first thing that I want to chat about. Okay. Coming off of the holidays, I have been in consultations with people who are struggling to come up with, you know, hey, looks like it's me and bro. Welcome. Welcome. God bless you. So people are coming off the holidays, and you can put stuff in the chat if you have questions. We're going to talk about it. People are coming off of the holidays, and they are feeling pretty much choked out by debt and want to know, what can I do in order to tackle this debt? The first thing I tell people when we are in consultation is recognize that there's a problem, if there is a problem. And if you feel that you're overspending or you're overextending yourself, you want to get to the root of the problem and find out why. What's the what's the real issue? It's not buying another purse or buying more shoes. What's the actual issue? And if it's, some people have found that it's loneliness, that they're dealing with, issues. Hey Eddie, welcome to the chat. Some people find out that they're dealing with issues, they're dealing with loneliness, and as of recent, someone I was working with, they are having issues with grief. Okay. If you are dealing with any type of emotional issues or anything that has happened that has caused challenges in your life, then you need to first deal with that as an issue. Okay. Let me look and see here. Just a moment. Question, Camille. What are the top three financial decisions a romantic male interest can make, and what are three that give you the? Well, I'm married, so I'm gonna start off there and say I'm married. My husband and I, our finances are together. Okay. If you can't trust each other, that's gonna be a problem. If you can't trust each other, you're not gonna trust each other with money. So, um, we've been married for over 20 something years, and our money is together. If we need to make big financial decisions, we make them together. He's not on my case about, oh, if you went over here and invested this or did this. He doesn't follow me on those little things, and I don't bother him with it. But when it comes to major decisions, you have to be together. So the top three financial decisions a male interest can make is you have to have, and this is my opinion, you have to have good credit or at least strong credit. What I mean by strong credit, there are some people who are self-employed and they kind of, their credit may not be as strong because they don't have a traditional job, but you have to be responsible financially with your credit. You cannot have some type of issue that causes you to, and when I say issue, I'm talking about like a habit that causes you to blow through money. That will be a red flag to me if there was some type of male interest. And I want to see how you handle your money. Like, what are you doing when you get your paycheck? Are you, I'm a believer, so I believe you're supposed to tithe off of what you get. That may not be everyone else's sentiment, and that's fine. But what are you doing with your money? Is your money allocated to, I pay my mortgage or I pay my rent first? Or do I go over here and blow it and buy shoes and buy weed? I'm going to look at your priorities and see where you put your money. That's where your heart is, and that's going to tell me everything that I need to know. So, if I see how you handle money, that's how you're going to handle me and my money. So, that will be an issue. I'm also going to see how you handle your family. If your family can come to you and they know you as a responsible person, they're calling you for advice, not just life advice, but financial advice, and they're calling you, that means they trust your opinion, then I know you're trustworthy to get advice from, and you're more than likely to handle your finances correctly too. That's me. So, as far as the top three, can I trust you with money? Are you handling your responsibilities? Those are going to be red flags. And how are you with your family? Those are the three things. And I hope that answered your question, Ali. That was a very good question. If you have more, you can certainly put them down in the comments as well. But so starting out this year, what are some of your goals that you want to make and meet for 2025? I'm not a New Year's resolution person, but I am a person that believes in assessing and reassessing where you are. You don't have to do it just because it's the new year. You can do it because you need to periodically check up on your finances to make sure you're in a good position. If you are in debt, you need to make a plan. The first thing you do is assess where you are, how I got there, and then do not beat yourself up. Do not beat yourself up about, oh, I should be here, I should be there. You can live in shoulda, coulda, woulda. Don't worry about that. Do not beat yourself up. If you are in debt, just make a plan. Are you planning to get a second job to get out of the debt? Are you planning to create a side hustle? Or are you planning to start working online to get income coming in that way? What is your plan in order to get out of debt? And then once you establish that, you'll be able to allocate money towards the debt. When it comes to credit cards, find out when your due dates are. That is super duper important. When it comes to your due dates on your credit cards, you may have your bill that's due on the first of every month. Then there's going to be a 3 to 5 day window that your billing cycle closes. So, for example, I have a Lowe's card. My Lowe's card, the payment date is, if I have a balance on it, my payment date is the first of every month. By the fifth of the month, they are going to close the bill. Therefore, whatever charges were there should be paid off. But if you can't pay it off, then whatever is there, they are going to report to the credit agency by that fifth day, hey, you owe $200 on this Lowe's card. And then if you signed up for no interest for 6 months, or if you signed up for some type of promotion, then there won't be any interest. But if you didn't and there's interest, the interest rates can be really high. I think I seen somewhere that it was like 26%. So that's pretty much 26 cents per dollar is going to that credit card company. So the billing date closes on typically 5 days after your bill is due. That amount is what they're going to report to the credit agency. So once they report that to the credit agency, it's going to show on all three major credit bureaus. that you owe $250. Okay. Now, here's the thing you need to keep in mind. If you go to pay that bill and on the first and then say, oh, I need to go back over to Lowe's and I need to get a faucet, that's $100. If you do that anytime before that bill closes, even though you just paid it on the first, if I go back over there on the third, it's going to show not only is my bill $250, but now I just added an extra $100 on top of it. So therefore, it's $350. So at the end of the day, you don't want to continue to max out your accounts. You want to be responsible. You want to make sure that you are paying them down and that you have a plan of getting it paid. So that is my advice when it comes to paying off these cards. Do not get back into debt, but make a plan to get out of it. Secondly, after you have established the fact that you're paying off debt, you can also start to build an emergency fund. This is for people who, I'm not saying people who are living paycheck to paycheck and they are really in trouble with robbing Peter to pay Paul, that type of situation. This is for people who have a little bit left over that you can build an emergency fund. In an emergency fund, you get sometimes people say, hey, you need 3 to 6 months of emergency fund. Then you have some who say, hey, you need 6 months. I say you need to start out with what you can. Okay. If you can only afford to put $86.12 into that emergency fund, baby, do that. Do what you can do. You can't go for these lofty goals if you don't have it. But if you do have extra money and it's pretty much like, hey, I'm not going to Chipotle, I'm not going to Starbucks, take that money and put it in an emergency fund. And an emergency fund can be like a high yield savings account. A high yield savings account, you're going to get interest back on the money that you put in there. It's not like the traditional savings account that you have at a bank or a credit union. The high yield savings account, you're going to get about 4.5% back on every dollar you put in there. That actually is a lot of money when it comes to savings, because typically when you put money in a regular savings or account at a bank or credit union, they're giving you 0.001 interest. So nothing. They're taking that penny and cutting that penny down. Take this piece of the penny. No, no, sir. No, ma'am. Get you a high yield savings account. When you put money in a high yield savings account, and not every bank offers them because they don't want to have to pay you the interest that they want to keep for themselves. So when it comes to a high yield savings account, some of the places that you can go to for a high yield savings account will be like Ally Bank. It will be Goldman Sachs. It's going to be Amex. So American Express gives a really good high yield savings account that pay you out. I think it's about 4.25%, something along that lines. But baby, it's better than what the bank would give you. So a high yield savings account, one of the things you need to keep in mind when you open one is they don't have a traditional bank sometimes that you can go into. So American Express, they're not on every corner. They have main offices, but they do not have local on the ground branches. That is one of the reasons they can pay you the interest that the regular banks are not paying, because they don't have the brick and mortar. They have it online, but you can always set up transfers to where you can transfer the money from that high yield savings account to your bank in your checking account and not have withdrawal issues. So you want to have that high yield savings account set up. The last thing that I want to discuss relative to starting out 2025 strong is, do you have your retirement account set up? I have been preaching to the choir, but do you have that Roth IRA set up? That is completely different from your employer. Your employer can set up a 401k that you contribute to and they match your contribution. But the Roth IRA, which stands for Individual Retirement Account, that is something specifically for you. The importance of that is once you set up that Roth IRA account, you get to deposit up to $7,000 per year, up to $7,000 per year. Do what's comfortable. Some people can't do 7,000. You may only be able to do $4,500, or you may be able to only do 1,500. Do not worry about that. Do something. Just do something. Okay. When you put money into that Roth IRA account, it grows tax free until you retire. Okay. That is why it is so important. A traditional IRA, you deposit money in there, but you have to pay taxes on it when you withdraw money from it, okay? A Roth IRA, you don't. The reason is you've already paid taxes on the money you're putting into a Roth. You've already got your paycheck, and once you get your paycheck, you put it into a Roth. They've already taxed it. So that's why it's considered tax free when you withdraw. You've already paid taxes on it. The traditional IRA is pre tax money. So therefore, you've never been taxed on it. It's taken out of your check before the taxes are taken out. So once that goes into your traditional IRA, then you have to pay taxes when you withdraw it. So that's why you want to take advantage of the Roth IRA. Okay. So that's what I wanted to discuss. The start of 2025. I am going to go live once a week on YouTube, once a week on TikTok. If you are not following me, you do want to follow me on all platforms. You also want to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to set up a consultation, I do set up one-on-one consultations, and it's through my website. And my website is CamilleRansom.com. CamilleRansom.com. And you can schedule a 30-minute or a 60-minute consultation. If you have questions, you can always send me an email. And my email address is CamilleConsultation@gmail.com. Okay. Any questions, let me know. I did also want to discuss current events. And the one thing that I want to say is when it comes to this, I've been intrigued by these recent terrorist attacks, these homegrown terrorist attacks. Let me tell you something. My condolences go out to these families, and especially that mother of that young girl who wasn't supposed to leave her house, but she did. And it's devastated her family that she was one of the victims. She's only 18 years old. So I pray God's comfort and his peace on her mother and their family. And I will also say that these things affect our economy, not just in the heartstrings that it pulls, but look at the fact that the Sugar Bowl was supposed to take place on New Year's Day, January 1st at 8 p.m. That's prime time, okay? You have sponsors, you have ads, you have all of these companies that have paid money in order for their product and commercial and everything to be aired at that time. They had to make the decision for safety reasons to move that to January 2nd at 4 p.m. Baby, that's not prime time. Okay. That is going to affect the sponsorships, the amount that they've paid. And what about the people who have taken off work to attend this Sugar Bowl? They booked airlines, they booked hotels, they booked rental cars. And just to get down there, and one, you can't go to the Sugar Bowl now because you're supposed to be back at work on the second, and you had planned to be back to work on the second. So now that's affecting your finances. You're going to have to somehow get a refund. And then what about these contractors that were supposed to work on the first and then be on another job on the second? All of these moving pieces are financial impacts to a particular city and the individual companies that work within the city. So when we look at these events, and even down over in Vegas with the guy blowing up the Cybertruck as well, they still have to find out if it's him in there. However, all of these things impact those people around. It's not just, oh, it's one person did this and there's 15 victims. They are 15 to 18 people who lost their lives, which is the tragedy. The utmost ridiculous thing to do is to take someone's life like that is so selfish. That is a tragedy. The financial impact is still present. Now, the city of New Orleans is most likely going to be sued because they saw that the police did not adequately secure that area. They typically have it barricaded off, but what they did is pulled up a couple of vehicles in the street, but didn't really block off the sidewalks and some other things. So therefore, that showed that there was a deficiency in security. So now there's going to be an even more greater impact when these lawsuits start coming through, because it's going to now come out of the city's pocket and trickle down to the residents. Again, all of these impacts are trickle down effects that are caused by one selfish individual. And that is the tragedy. So, yes, I want to talk about current events and starting out 2025 strong. If you have questions, send me the messages and I can schedule the consultation. All right. God bless you. And thank you so much for joining my first live on YouTube. I'm also going to do a live at 9 p.m. on TikTok and talk about a few things as well. All right. God bless you. Bye bye.